from the obvious and him scoring goals, I think for me there is a massive difference between a great striker and a complete player / complete striker. I think it's like, for me, like being on Earth or on the moon. The way, you know, he makes his team tick, he can score you goals, and he puts pressure. Peter, we were talking about it on the third goal that you showed earlier. He creates something out of nothing. You know, he's asking his team, as you saw there, to go higher. Here, the same thing. Why does he go there? He's trying to generate something, and it is contagious. It is, and we all remember what happened after that. And obviously, he does score on the play. The same thing here. The way he goes, you see Rudiger not following him. He flicked that ball for Modric. He's at the end of it. He should have scored. He didn't. The same here. As you said before, he does smell it. But he realizes that Thiago Silva goes too far from his position, so he backsealed it for Valverde. And then we all know what happened. Vinicius Junior is going to go back inside and hit the crossbar. And then here the same. This is what I mean when he makes his team tick. He will hold the ball. He knows Vinicius Junior is up there. Vinicius Junior knows also he cannot run because he has to wait for him to go back to his position. They play him again. The ball was for Vinicius Junior. He let it go. Now he goes back in the box to try to get the ball back. That's what I mean when I say that they play at his pace. He makes the team tick. They always try to find him. Every single time. So obviously hat-trick last week in the first leg, right, against Chelsea. 2 of those were headed goals. I guess we're just kind of interested, how did he manage to take them so well? Is that something that players like you would practice? Is that something you work on in training? You don't actually work on headers, apart when you have a coach that will ask you to do it in training. Most of the time it's instincts, knowing. What you do practice, though, is the timing of your run. How are you going to jump? How are you going to keep your shoulder facing the goal and not close the angle of the goal? As you can see here, he plays the ball for Vinicius Junior, as we know, and look at how he runs. Instead of running here, and if you think about it in your head, he would have closed the angle of the goal by running like that. But because he runs diagonally, so eventually he's going to arrive to a spot where he still sees the angle of the goal. And his shoulders right now are exactly how your shoulders should be, because if you put it like that, right shoulder faces the right post, left shoulder faces the left post. And the ball is magnificent, don't get me wrong, from Vinicius Junior. But if he didn't run the way he ran, he would never have been able to do what he did. And another thing. To generate that power, is that about timing? Technically, the power is in the cross. He just directs it. Because his shoulders are right, his body is right, the position is right, the cross of Vinicius is right. He just lifts the ball, if you look at it. He doesn't put power in it. The power is in the cross. Everything was perfect there. But his movement, he didn't kill his own angle. But you think about, obviously, the second goal from Modric as well. It's actually the actual timing of the jump, and it's actually getting onto your head as well. It's not just about basically trying to put too much power into the... For me, everything is spot on there, because you have 2 great players being on the same length, thinking, when the ball goes to Valverde, you're going to see, here, Modric is going to look to see where his strikers is before, and then now he looked if he could cross the ball. Ball comes in, he knows the ball is going to go in because they've been playing with each other a very long time. The same thing. Look at his shoulders. Look at the way he keeps the ball. Again, the power, the force that it generates, really, is because the cross comes with pace and the ball is spinning. All he has to do is to meet it with his head and make sure he makes it spin the other way. It's like if you play table tennis, you know, when you put that effect and you put the racket the other way, the ball will go the other way. This is exactly what it did. But again, they were kind of a telepathic way. It wasn't too much telepathic because Modric looked, but they knew exactly what they were going to do. One knew he was going to cross and one knew he was going to be in the box. But the way, once again, he didn't kill his own angle. He knew the ball was coming. Shoulders are right. I put it that way. He could never have scored there because he was backpedaling. But goalkeeper will always do the same thing, going back to the post that is free. That is why you always try to go where the ball came from.